City teachers have formally accepted a measure that will bring substantial changes to Attleboro High School. Last Wednesday, city teachers voted to ratify an agreement that would convert the high school from a semester schedule to a trimester schedule. The hope is to give high school students a greater choice between classes and a more flexible schedule. The vote resolved a potential dispute between the city teachers and the school committee after a trimester schedule was enacted last summer for the 2012-2013 school year over objections made by the teachers union. To learn more about the transition process, DoubleACS spoke with Attleboro High School Principal Bill Rooney.
I'm Bill Rooney, and I'm principal at Attleboro High School. And last week was a very important week for our school in that the Attleboro Teachers Union made a decision to vote in favor of the trimester schedule. Over the course of the 2011-2012 school year, there were ongoing discussions about whether or not it was in the students' best interest to shift from a four-period semester block schedule to a trimester schedule. The negotiations went on for a considerable amount of time at the end of last school year. There was a certain percentage of the teachers that were in favor of the trimester last spring. There was a certain percentage of them that were on the fence, and then there was a certain percentage that were vehemently against it. And because of the fact that the discussions and the negotiations were ongoing, it's my understanding that the school committee finally had to make a decision because it was getting close to June and schedules needed to be created for students and for teachers. When they did realize that it was something that the school committee was going to put into place, they filed a grievance because of a change of working conditions, which is it's a natural part of the process. From the negotiations that took place on that grievance, a memorandum of agreement, an MOA, was formulated, and there were aspects of the MOA that were not necessarily related to the trimester. I mean, there were other aspects that pertained to elementary schools and middle schools, but the crux of the document was the trimesters. Well, there were certain aspects of the trimester schedule that certainly changed what some of the teachers had been accustomed to who had been here for many years on a semester schedule. You were going from periods that were in the vicinity of 80 minutes apiece to periods that are now 65 minutes apiece. So that restructures the way that you've maybe planned lessons in the past. But also it opened the door for many elective classes that we had not had the opportunity to offer before. And given the fact that we had more offerings and we essentially had the same teaching staff, we had to turn to teachers and ask them to work on writing curriculum to support those elective classes. That was just simply something that they were willing to do. However, there were certain aspects of the agreement that they wanted to make sure that they were in place in terms of having the appropriate support for that curriculum and the appropriate time frame in which to be able to do so. On Wednesday, January the 9th, we had a faculty meeting after school where the union members did an excellent job of breaking our faculty into smaller groups and entertaining discussion about ways that we can improve the trimester schedule because we've been on it for about 5 months. And that was a crucial part of the process because I don't think if the teachers had the opportunity to express their concerns and realize that the administration was sensitive to those concerns, I don't necessarily know that the vote on January the 16th would have gone in the favor of the trimesters. Well, the feedback from the students and the teachers has been mixed. Right now we're in the first version of trimester 1, so to speak. And there are certain things that both the teachers and the students have brought as concerns to us as an administration, and we are very sensitive to those concerns. Changes going into next year, obviously some of the complaints have been that you might take the first half of a class in trimester 1 and then not have the opportunity to take the second half of the class until trimester 3. And that is a legitimate concern, and in every possible case that we can, we will make the trimesters for a particular class consecutive. We've also had some concerns expressed by our CTE teachers and by our science teachers that the 65 minutes isn't necessarily enough for them to be able to cover all their material and also do the practical aspects of it, whether it be a lab or a project. That's going to be a more difficult adjustment for us to make because there's only so much time in the day. But there are certain ways where maybe we can schedule back-to-back blocks and things like that for some of those teachers to be able to accomplish that. I think it's very admirable that the administration last year, the teachers from last year, and the students were willing to accept this. Although they weren't necessarily thrilled about it, they were willing to accept it. They've made the most of it for these first 5 months or so. And it's been a steep learning curve for all of us. But we didn't even have the green light on it until late May or early June. Now that we have virtually an entire year to evaluate it and look at the ways that we can make it stronger, make it better, then I'm confident that more people will be happy next year. I don't think there's ever a situation where everybody's happy, but we certainly have it as a priority to work to make more people happy next year.